It's a lemon. I'm sure it'll be fine. Aside from the fact that it's like rock hard. Hey friends, welcome back to Not Quite Homesteading, ASK Garden. Today we are in my kitchen and I am sharing a haul. So I have tried out Azure Standard and this is my, I guess, second order, you can say. I tried it out once last month. I like the drop. I like the idea that you can buy in bulk and still get like organic and farm supported foods. So I decided to go ahead and place a second order, a much larger order than I placed the first time I ordered with them. And I'm hoping to give this a try this year to see how I enjoy their products, as well as if the bulk orders and pricing can help me kind of consolidate a little bit on my budget. So I've essentially taken the bait, the YouTube bait, because Azure Standard is all the rave. They've become extremely popular because of YouTube. And if you are someone that is into bulk food purchasing, or you just prefer to support like local farms or businesses, or CSAs, that kind of stuff, so far it appears to be a really good avenue to do so. Now, I am not partial to them, I will say that at this point, because they do still work with major branded companies, which kind of to me defeats the purpose of trying to offer like the type of service that they're offering. So they do have products on there that are branded kind of like under those natural brand names, but they're owned by like mega corporations. And for some people that is a turnoff. I do try to research the products that I buy, and that's really with anything, but I don't know if I really dug deep enough to figure out if any of these products were really owned by like major brands. So I'm going to share with y'all today what I picked up out of this order. I'll share the total that I spent and what it cost me, but just so you kind of can understand like my process around shopping and bulk shopping. Typically what I do, and I don't know how it started this way, my thought process behind it really is my food budget runs from October to September, year to year. So I'm not like fiscal I'm not on a fiscal calendar when it comes to grocery shopping. I really am led more by like October heading into the fall, that kind of being the season where most people tend to start ramping up cooking. We get into like comfort foods, a lot of baking, all those good things. So I try to make sure that we're stocked like with whatever we need through the winter months, and then we kind of spend the spring, summer eating through everything that we like purchased for the year, so that when October comes around, we can kind of reset for the new indoor cooking season. So that's kind of my logic behind when and why I kind of like why and how I manage my food budget. And what I try to do in that space is, for the month of September, I try not to spend like I would in a normal grocery month. So it is a low spend or either no spend. No spend hasn't really worked out for me, I will be honest. Let's not, kid ourselves here. But I do try to do as low spend as possible, meaning we only purchase things from the store that we truly need. The idea is that, we want to run through anything that really needs to be run through that month before I start repurchasing. Now, this year, this is 2023. This year, January and February, I did the 3 Rivers challenge, which is kind of no spend for January and February in preparation for your spring garden. So basically moving through any products that you would virtually use, or moving through any products that you would virtually like can or freeze or save through those winter months when production is not as high as it is during the spring and summer. So I do intend to do that this year too, or 2024. So that gives me 3 months out the year where I essentially should not be doing any kind of like food shopping, only fill-ins for things that, like are really perishable, like milk, dairy, that kind of stuff. But even with Azure, and you'll see that today, I am trying to get to a place where I don't even have to sub things like cheeses or butter, that kind of stuff, because I want to have those things in bulk, especially because those are some of the most expensive things at the store. So the more money I can save around purchasing those things, the better. But let me show you what I got, because I do need to get some of this stuff into the refrigerator. So the first two things are yogurt. Now, they're virtually the same. And I say virtually. This one says grass-fed. This one is just regular, but it's probiotic. Oh, they actually are both probiotic. See? I guess I missed that. But they are both vanilla. Now, I am a fan of Noosa's vanilla bean yogurt. That yogurt is so good, y'all. If you haven't tried that, definitely give that a try. So I'm going to try these this month to see how I like them, and if this could potentially be something I buy in bulk from Azure, enough to not have to purchase at the grocery store, but also to see how it compares in flavor to the Noosa yogurt that I like. So one thing, and this was one of my worries, right, with ordering stuff from places like this, and partially why I prefer to get these kinds of things fresh from the grocery store. One of those yogurts, I'm just looking at like the date, it's actually dated for August 15th. Today is August 17th. So that's an issue for me. We're definitely gonna call that in, and they're gonna have to credit my money back for that. But I think those kinds of things, they should be more diligent about, to ensure that people are getting things that are dated much further out when you're ordering through this kind of vehicle. So I did get these little 8-ounce rounds of provolone cheese from them. Now these aren't pre-sliced, which I was like, well, let's see how that works for me. I do usually keep provolone, like sliced provolone cheese in the house, so I figured why not spend, or try to spend a little less, as opposed to paying $3.50 per, 8 ounces or whatever you get like sliced in the package. I got 3 of them, and I believe this cost me something like $8.50 or so. Now I do have to figure out how to slice it, which is going to be, a challenge in and of itself. I don't have a like meat or deli slicer. I don't know if my mandolin will be able to handle this. But the other thing is, when weighing the cost effectiveness, if I'm not getting consistent and uniform slices that are weighted like, you would in a regular pack of cheese, it is very possible that like I might be affecting that saving. So I am glad to have this though. That means I don't have to actually purchase cheese this month, and probably for the month of September, because this basically is trying to cover us through September. It's middle of August. We probably won't even begin to touch most of this stuff until September, but I shouldn't have to order more until October, and that would basically to get us through November. So if you're unfamiliar with how Azure works, you basically place an order, your drop has a designated date, and my drop comes about the second or third week, like it's kind of somewhere between like the second and third week of the month. So that means my order has to be placed by the beginning of the month in order to receive it in the middle towards the end of that month. And then essentially that kind of throws someone like me off, because I usually do most of my shopping, the bulk of it, at the beginning of the month, and then I'll do refills in the middle. So I'm also in this process shifting my system to where now I'm planning for the month ahead as opposed to the month that I'm getting the stuff in. So it is a little bit of an adjustment, but that's why I'm saying that these will kind of carry through October. And then when I order in October, that should carry through basically December. So I picked up this Organic Valley half and half from them, and this has a good date on it. So this is September 22nd. This is reasonable within the time that I would basically look for if I were going to the grocery store. I usually try to get as far as like a month out if I can for most things, if not more. But little bent up, but I ordered this because I wanted to try it to see if it was worth potentially getting in bulk from them, or if I should just continue to buy this from my local grocery store as needed. But this is a good sign to me, the fact that this is dated for September 22nd. And I don't need a ton of these, but I needed cream to get me through the end of the month. And I was like, well, if I'm going to place the order, I might as well get it I might as well get it from here and then give this a try. So one of the other things I picked up was this 5-pound block of sharp cheddar cheese. So this is, it didn't say if it was yellow or white, truthfully. It's kind of like a cross in between. I don't know if I would consider this white cheddar. Like, it does have a little bit of a tint, but usually if it's white, it'll say white. So I don't know if that's just a natural yellowness from perhaps like the way they cultivate the cheese. Usually cheese that is yellow has annatto in it. Like all cheese, all like cheddar cheese is white to start with. So if you're picking up yellow cheese, that's just like a mind, like a, you know, little Jedi mind trick for us. But all they do is color it with annatto. So this doesn't look like it has any artificial colorings in it, but it doesn't look quite white to me. But cheddar is something that I buy every single month, sliced cheddar. So I figured this would be much, much better for me to use, cut out like, you know, little squares. Then I can shred some, package it away, and these things will all be ready whenever I need them to cook, as opposed to having to go in, pull it out, process it, or being out of something and then having to run to the store. So my goal with this kind of stuff is to buy more stuff like this, where it's ready and available in bulk, instead of spending, you know, $5 for a pack of sliced cheese every single month. They still had some sliced cheese options, which I did pick up to try. So this is sliced mozzarella. I got 3 packs of these. The great thing about this is I can freeze them, pull them out when I'm ready and as needed. These I tend to like for things like Philly cheesesteaks, or, you know, if you want to do like a meatball sub or something. And it's just better to have like a sliced piece of cheese as opposed to having shredded cheese fall all over the place. But these also you can get in bulk, so you can save a little bit of money. And I like that as opposed to buying the single package every single month. So this is mozzarella too, if I didn't mention that. But I also ended up getting a 6-pound block of mozzarella. And this will be good for when I need to shred and just have shredded cheese on for like pizza or lasagna or something, anything I need to top with cheese. I can go ahead and divvy this up into 1-pound parts, shred it if I want to, or, you know, shred it and put it in a bag. That way it's ready. Because sometimes when you're cooking and you need to cook quickly, you don't feel like doing this stuff right then. So the more I can be prepared, especially during like some of those busier times of year for like gardening, this will be saving grace. So I'm really kind of happy that I'm able to transition this over. And let me mention too, y'all, so the date on this is December 7th, 2023. So I think that's a really good time for a package of cheese. Like if I put this in a refrigerator and say I didn't want to open it for a little bit, this would be totally fine. Once you open it, obviously that's not going to be the shelf life, but that is a pretty decent shelf life if I wanted to leave this in my fridge now and then not open it until maybe like next month or something. So I also picked up some Monterey Jack cheese. I like Monterey Jack cheese just to like snack on. I also like this cheese particularly when I'm doing like Mexican style cooking, but I wanted to just try it, see how I liked it. If I do like theirs, then I'll go ahead and order more the next time I order from Azure. And then the other thing I got, which I thought was really cool, they have like lemongrass in bulk, where so it's fine cut, and I can basically have this to add to teas. So up to this point, I have really been struggling with getting my lemongrass seeds started. They finally germinated for me after like a long period of cold stratification and then putting them out directly into 90-degree weather. So they are germinated. I am praying on them because I am out of seeds at this point, and I really, really want these plants around my garden for both insect benefit and for me to be able to have lemongrass to cook with and make tea with. But since I saw this, and this is a lot, you know, I will say this is a full pound of cut lemongrass. I was like, you know what, let me buy this because I know it's going to be a little while before mine are able to provide what I'm looking for. So this is really neat if you're someone that does want lemongrass and you want to try to save a few dollars on it, because it can be pretty costly. This is a good way to go. All right, I also picked up some bulk butter from them. One of the things I really like to have in bulk is butter. I also like this cheese particularly when I'm doing like Mexican style cooking, but I wanted to just try it, see how I liked it. If I do like theirs, then I'll go ahead and order more the next time I order from Azure. And then the other thing I got, which I thought was really cool, they have like lemongrass in bulk, where so it's fine cut, and I can basically have this to add to teas. So up to this point, I have really been struggling with getting my lemongrass seeds started. They finally germinated for me after like a long period of cold stratification and then putting them out directly into 90-degree weather. So they are germinated. I am praying on them because I know it's going to be a little while before mine are able to provide what I'm looking for. So this is really neat if you're someone that does want lemongrass and you want to try to save a few dollars on it, because it can be pretty costly. This is a good way to go. All right, I also picked up some bulk butter from them. One of the things I really like to have in bulk is butter. there was a point where we would go to like Trader Joe's and just kind of stock up on like the Kerrygold butters. This was years ago when they were, you know, $2 and change, short change. And then I guess as again, YouTube popularized Kerrygold has gotten out of control as far as their pricing. And now it's basically $4 and change for an 8-ounce bar. So anytime you can find quality butter for a more affordable or bulk price, I would definitely recommend going for it. Now this is a new brand to me specifically, but it is, I guess, Sierra Nevada Cheese Company, and I believe it's called Gracier's is the brand. Yeah, Gracier's. This is vat cultured butter. It's European style butter. I always buy my butter unsalted. I do like to control the salt. Also, you can tell if the butter is fresher when it's unsalted. So that is my preference. I do want to get some more of this when I place the next order, but I'll probably go ahead and place like the much larger box order because I want to be able to have that basically through spring, because I will be participating in the pantry challenge for January and February. So I want to make sure that we have enough of this for baking season and to just kind of get through those months before we have to reevaluate like our pantry stock. But I think you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got 12 in this box. These are 8 ounces each. These days I'm not really going through as much butter as far as just like regular cooking. There are some things that I absolutely love butter in, but I am trying to be a little bit more mindful of those things. You know, but butter is butter. Butter is delicious. So it's always great to have this on hand. And right now, you know, for you get $5, $6 for a pound of butter. You know, if you can save yourself a few dollars and at the same time get a better quality butter, absolutely, why not? Because I was placing this order, I actually picked up eggs from them. Now I am really partial when it comes to eggs. I'm a Vital Farms girl through and through. I always get their organic eggs and their eggs are immaculate. So this is a first for me. I'm always scared to change, but Gwendolyn, they seem to be making the same claims that Vital Farms does. It says hatched, raised, and laying in Oregon's Willamette Valley. Not Willamette Valley, but you know, they're pasture raised. They're supposed to be working with like small farms as well as ensuring certain standards when it comes to the quality of life that the chickens have. So, oh, and they're animal welfare certified. So I said, I'll give them a try. Someone kind of made a comment that they have really good like golden yolks, and typically, if you're not familiar with that, the more nutrients a bird takes in, especially calcium, you will see the difference in the color of the egg. When the yolk is really, really golden, that kind of speaks to the natural like nutrients that the bird takes in. It also signifies like that the bird was happier. It had a lot of space to graze and roam and really take in a lot of its natural prey. With that, the egg whites typically are a lot stickier on those healthier chickens. If you find like eggs are super pale yellow and or the yolks, not the yolks, or the whites are really runny, that usually is an indication that the bird is lacking some type of nutrients, especially calcium, and or that the eggs are not as fresh as they really should be. So always look for the golden yolk. And all the eggs, they seem to be okay. They traveled well. There are no cracks. They were really careful. So that's a good sign if I happen to like these and need to order them in bulk, and or, you know, if I'm placing an order, instead of getting up to go to the store, I can just have them come with whatever if I need them in the middle of the month. Well, these are snug now, aren't they? Now, I will say these seem to be a little bit questionable. So these are supposed to be cotton candy grapes. I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a limb because I didn't eat a cotton candy grape or a few in my lifetime. For one, the sizing is not that of a cotton candy grape. The color is not that of a cotton candy grape. And these grapes look absolutely horrible. So I'm not happy with this particular purchase. You can tell that they are like super wet. Some of them are soft, some of them are moldy. So we will be getting our money back for this. But these just look like regular green grapes to me. But I won't even taste them to try them because they look terrible. So one cool find that I did get from them, this is an actual trimmed coconut. It's a trimmed organic fragrant coconut. Can't really smell it through the plastic too much, but I thought this was really cool. So this basically has juice in it. It has flesh that I can use, and the only way I guess I'm gonna get a real coconut is this way. It's not something you can grow here in my zone. Boy, if I could, I would absolutely grow a coconut tree. But it'll be nice to try this because I think even when we went to Jamaica, I have never had a fresh coconut. If you've ever had a fresh coconut, let me know down below. I'm sure, and you know, describe that experience for me because I need to live vicariously through y'all. So I ended up ordering these tortillas, and I ordered them simply just because I wanted tortillas. You could get them in bulk. I've heard some pretty good things about them as far as flavors go. I was honestly expecting these to be a little bit larger. So these are kind of what I would consider small tortillas. These are not even like medium-sized ones, even though I feel like they were labeled as large. But these will do. You know, I can make burritos with them. You can use them. And quite honestly, I do make my own tortillas from time to time. I don't have a tortilla press, so it's not as much fun, but once I get a tortilla press, I won't even have to worry about buying stuff like this. I do keep my eggs in like my own little cartons here. I don't keep them in like the store cartons, just to protect them inside the refrigerator and so that they're a little more compact. Now, the one thing I will say about these, as far as the date is concerned, I think these could have been dated a little bit further out. I really bought these with the intention of them lasting into September. The best by date is August 27th. Yes, they will be good for a little bit after that, but I probably won't use all of these within the next like week or so, and that's a little disappointing. So yeah, this is something to think about for the next purchase. It may just be worth getting the eggs that I'm used to getting from my actual store, my actual grocery store, and ensuring that I can date check myself. All right, y'all, so moving on to produce and dry goods. The produce are looking a lot better for the most part than some of the earlier things that I pulled out, but I picked up some organic yams. These look really good. So these are actual yams. I've pretty much only eaten these like when I eat like West Indian food, and one of my favorite things to get like from a West Indian restaurant is the saltfish, yam, banana, and dumpling like breakfast plate. So this I wanted because I was like, I can make this at home. I have some cod here that I can make some saltfish with, and this will be a nice pairing. I have some yams. I know how to make the dumplings. It's about to be on, y'all. So definitely glad to have these, and I'm glad that they came like nice sizes and looking fairly new. I was elated to find that they had my Japanese yams. So these are the murasaki sweet potato yam, however you call it, but these things are absolutely delicious. They are so nutty and sweet, like you don't even need to put anything on them. That's how good they are. Now, one thing I am disappointed about, not this bag specifically, the other bag has some mold on some of the potatoes, which is, you know, why. I don't know if they're just like too moist, but I was not pleased to see that. but also just the general sizing of them. So I don't know if it's because they're organic, like you can see like the molds here, if it's because they're organic or what. But the last time I had like organic Murasaki potatoes, they were like massive, like the regular yams, and they were so good. But since they had them and I could get them in bulk, I said I would go ahead and purchase them. I purchased 2. And I might decide to let a couple of them sprout so that I can attempt to grow them myself. I also picked up some purple sweet potatoes. I thought this would be like a fun little mix up into our diet. Like, I don't think I've ever had a purple sweet potato, but I've heard really good things about them. So I was like, why not try them? And then I did pick up some organic sweet potatoes. Now, I don't know the variety of these, but they don't look like any other sweet potato that I've ever tried. It looks like the flesh might even be white. If I remember correctly, they might be white, but we'll see what happens. The best buy on this is 9/7/2023, but it's a root vegetable, so I don't know. Maybe that's just for their packing purposes. I feel like that should be fine beyond that date. We also picked up some oranges, which these are nice size oranges. I believe these are navel oranges, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, they're Valencia oranges. These are pretty nice size, so we'll see how I like those. I picked up some Pink Lady apples. Now, I guess I might have sliced the bag when I did that, but Pink Lady apples are really, really good. If you've not ever had them, they're kind of like, if I had to compare them to something to give you an idea, it's kind of like a combination of a Honeycrisp apple and an Envy apple. Envy apples are one of my absolute favorite apples. Like, they are just like the perfect like candy sweet with a slight hint of tart. And Pink Lady, to me, it kind of offers that same candy sweetness with a little more tartness. So if you're used to like Honeycrisp apples where you like that like nice balance of sweet tart, Pink Lady would be like another, like a nice step over. But it adds, like, the sweetness is a little bit different than just like the natural sugars in apple. So those are really good. I picked up some lemons. I always try to pick up lemons anytime I go somewhere. These are a nice size, not gonna lie, but they're really hard. They're not really juicy, so to me that says not ripe. There's some bruising on these that, you know, I probably could have got some better Eureka lemons at my grocery store. So I don't know, the verdict is out. You know, it's a lemon. I'm sure it'll be fine. Aside from the fact that it's like rock hard. And then these are the limes. I pick up limes and lemons anytime I can. Little disappointed in the way the limes look. They're starting to brown, which is an indication that they've been sitting for, you know, a little while. I don't know why they're so moist. I guess because they were in the cold, but these do feel a little bit more juicy than even the lemon. So, you know, I'm okay. I'll probably make a good like cherry limeade or strawberry limeade or something with these. But I always like to keep these on hand because I use them to just kind of soak meats sometimes and or to make dressings and juices and all that good stuff. I ended up picking up some kiwis. Aaron likes kiwis. This is like one of his, you know, summer fruits that he likes to have. These look pretty decent. Nothing really to complain about here. There's one that looks like it's a little less than perfect, but I feel like you should expect that anytime you get fruits in a carton like this, there's always going to be at least 1 or 2 that are like a little subpar. So apparently I have 2 bags of red potatoes. Now I'm gonna be honest, I do not recall ordering 2 of these. So I have to go back and look at my receipt and make sure I didn't make an error. But you never go wrong with red potatoes. I don't think you can really mess up a potato unless you just send a potato that's been sitting and is rotting. But these look pretty good, so not really complaining about that. I'm just confused by the fact that I have 2 of them. I did pick up some Yukon Gold potatoes. I absolutely love Yukon Gold potatoes. So fun fact, I would always buy like russet potatoes from the store, and I would just use the russets to make every kind of potato, baked potato, mashed potato, all that good stuff. But y'all, there is definitely a difference in a mashed potato when you use Yukon Gold mashed potatoes. Now, there is nothing wrong with a russet mash. Russet mashes are delicious, and I think actually for like more like rustic mashes where it's like you include the skins and stuff, I feel like a rustic potato I feel like a russet potato is probably a little bit better for that. But when you talk about buttery, golden, smooth deliciousness, you cannot beat a Yukon Gold mashed potato. And then to round out the haul, I have some like dry goods here that I picked up. I picked up a few cans of green chilies. I've never heard of this brand. I've never used it, but you know, I guess green chili is a green chili. I don't know if all green chilies are created equal. I usually get the ones from Trader Joe's. I like those a lot. But who knows, I might not even need those in the future because I did buy like whole hatch chilies, and next year I actually plan to grow them so I can make my own diced chilies if I really need to. I did pick up these brown gravy mixes. Now I am a little disappointed in this because this is not what I ordered and this is what I got. So there are these mixes that I get from Thrive Market, and the branding that they had on the site were the ones that I would get from Thrive Market. And the reason I like the ones from Thrive Market is because it is a vegetarian brown gravy. I've said this several times, but if you are new to the channel, I do not eat red meat, and most brown gravies tend to have like beef broth in them. So I'm a little disappointed that this is not what I ordered, and now I have to essentially request my money back because I was misled by what I was getting. So this says that it has organic beef flavor in it, and I'm not going to eat that. So I will be requesting my money back for that. But that is extremely misleading because there's a very specific brand of these seasonings, or of these little like pack gravies and seasonings that Thrive Market sells, and I could have just not purchased this and gotten what I really wanted from Thrive Market in September. So that's a little disappointing. I picked up some milk powder. I don't know if you're familiar with milk powder, if you use milk powder. I typically use this for baking. I don't use it to like make milk or reconstitute milk or anything like that. You could, and maybe I would consider it now because I have whole milk powder. Usually when you buy like the generic versions in the stores, it's usually like non-fat, and I definitely don't want that. But I use this in all of my breads for the most part, like my loaf breads that I make. So instead of adding milk, I add this to the water, and it gives that same like consistency that you would get from a milk bread. I picked up some red kidney beans. I officially used all my kidney beans, I want to say this month or last month. And I was like, you know what? Might as well buy them. Kidney beans we use in a lot of stuff, and it is that season to start replenishing those like dry goods in my pantry. So definitely didn't want to miss out on that. And then the last thing that we got, which I will just show you guys instead of trying to pick it up, is this little bag of, not quite so little, but Thai jasmine rice. So it's 25 pounds of Thai jasmine rice, and ultimately rice is a pantry staple. It is something I think we eat probably one of the most eaten sides here. So having it in bulk is definitely a blessing, especially because now I cannot find the brands of Thai rice that I like, and Trader Joe's is way too far, you know, for me to not necessarily purchase rice if I run out from here. And the brand that they sell within the stores, I don't particularly care for it. I don't like the way the texture of the rice ends up being once it's cooked. So I'm hoping that this is a good Thai jasmine rice and that we can rely on this going forward. So that is everything from this order, y'all. I believe I spent roughly about $450. I couldn't, like, once you pick up your order, they clear out the actual receipt from the thing unless I'm missing something. So I'm looking at, I guess, the original receipt. It says it was $453.07. $35 of that was shipping. That is one thing to consider if you have not shopped with them and you were looking to try them or thinking about trying them. Think about the cost of shipping and factoring that into whether or not you're truly saving money. There were a couple of items that I did not get, so maybe it was just a few dollars less, but ultimately, you know, I think for the most part, if I had to rate it, I would rate this order maybe a 7 out of 10, for the simple fact that I got things that are expired, moldy, just not good, and or that are approaching their expiration date pretty quickly. So I hope that like my future experiences are a little bit better around some of those things, and maybe that's something I need to consider as far as purchasing like the produce, maybe purchasing only specific types of produce and not things that can really end up kind of going bad during that shipment process. I will say, when we talk about groceries and why groceries are so expensive, there are a number of course, economical factors, but this is a part of it. You know, social media popularizes things, and then the more people jump on that wagon, the more they create demand for those products, the more that companies can charge for them. It also puts stress on the labor and supply of it all. So, you know, that causes price increases around those things as well. And they offset that on the backs of the consumer. So I will say one of the things that we just need to be mindful of as a community, and it's not that we shouldn't share a great deal or share a great opportunity if we know of one, but how we elevate, you know, companies and products and those types of things ultimately affects us in our pockets. I appreciate you guys for spending time with me today. I hope you enjoyed this haul, something a little bit different for the gardening channel. I will talk more about stuff like this going forward in my garden versus grocery series that I will be kicking off pretty soon. But I appreciate y'all for being here. Let's keep learning, sewing, and growing together, friends. Until our next garden update. Bye.